So how did you get involved in this year's election coverage?
Well, I had actually originally done my own research on the elections where I analyzed each of the parties' platforms because I'm a nerd and I just did a whole document, and then I decided to share it with people on Facebook because I felt like there wasn't enough information out there for everybody. And then it kind of like went viral in Bermuda, which was really weird for me, but then I had a lot of people messaging me, asking me questions, and then someone that I actually worked with at VHS, which is my old school, reached out to me about this program, and that was it. I said, okay, sure, I don't mind.
Did you know anything about the candidates before you got there?
No. Well, right before I left, I did a quick research, and that was it. And I went there.
Like, how much time was it before, okay, you have to be at this scene from when you were told?
So we were told that afternoon where we would be going and what we would be doing. I figured out who the candidates were and their background about 5 minutes before I got to the polling station. So.
What was your thought about the experience?
I loved it. I would do it again. I thought it was a very rewarding experience, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the future.
Do you recommend other people get involved in journalism and politics?
I recommend people get involved in knowing about the politics and getting information about the politics so they can make informed decisions when they vote in the future. Getting actually involved maybe in terms of being like a politician or something, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's the right path for everybody. That's at least what I've been told by politicians themselves. But as far as journalism, I think anybody could get interested in, finding information and sharing it with the world. So, yeah.
Well, start off tell me a little bit about how you became involved in this year's election coverage.
So I was contacted by my global politics teacher, my former global politics teacher at VHS, who had received an email about, this program from the Royal Gazette. And she knew that I was going to university to study journalism and politics. So she was like, this would be a great opportunity for you. And so, of course, I took it on. And I know several people at the Gazette, so it was a very comfortable situation. And then I came and I spoke to, Sarah and Tim, and we got a lot of useful information, and then we went out to the constituencies.
Wait, which constituency were you in?
I was in constituency 29 in Southampton. It was Zane De Silva and Mr. Todd. And so I got to see, it was a very strong PLP stronghold. So there was a lot of support for the PLP out there, and it was very interesting to see, a lot of the supporters out there, and I got to talk to a few of them. They were really, really open to talking to me, and they're really interested in the fact that I was, a young person out here interviewing for the Royal Gazette.
And what was it feel like speaking to the candidates?
That was an interesting experience because, they were obviously really open to talking to me, but as someone who, wasn't from that constituency and didn't really know them in that level, it took a lot of confidence, so it took a lot of confidence to get up there and talk to them, but they were really, really open to, discussing their politics with me, and it was very interesting to see their perspective on a lot of issues.
And has this experience increased your interest in journalism?
Yeah, I think so, of course, because like I said, I'm going to study journalism, so I think any experience is good experience. And I think being able to get out there and actually see what it's like was a really great experience for me. I got a lot of, ideas and confidence from that, so I'm really thankful for it.
Now, how did you get involved in this year's election coverage?
Well, I did my work experience with the Royal Gazette in March, and then a friend of mine whose mom I was shadowing while I was here, she asked me if I was interested in it, so I said, sure. So.
Have you been interested in all local politics?
To be honest, no. But after my experience working with the Royal Gazette, I'm definitely more interested because I think now it's important to know who's representing you in government and who you need to talk to in order to get your voice heard.
Now, what was the reaction of the politicians seeing a young, possible future journalist out there asking questions?
For me, from what I got from them at first, I think they were kind of surprised because I'm only 15 and I was there telling them, hi, I'm covering for the Royal Gazette and everything you say to me goes into the paper. But at the same time, I think they were very respectful in it and they were very supportive in answering questions to me fully as if I was an adult reporter who has experience instead of a student who's just starting out.
And how does it feel to see the quotes that you got in print?
It's actually very exciting. I got the privilege of having an article of mine produced in the Young Observer when I did my work experience. So, I kind of forgot the excitement and the adrenaline rush that you get from seeing something that you wrote or recorded in the paper. So it was definitely a great experience again.
And what are your thoughts on the coverage of the day?
It's a very long day. it's not always a very exciting day, but when it is exciting, it's definitely like, it's something I would suggest for everyone to feel. Like, if you can get out at the polling stations, it's like, obviously if you have stuff to do, go in and then leave when you have to. But if you get the opportunity, I really feel like once you get there, instead of just going straight to the ballot, kind of look around and see how the politicians are interacting with the people in your constituency and how they're just interacting with the general public.
How did you get involved in this year's election coverage?
Well, actually, a friend of mine reached out to me because they were going to do it, and they asked me if I was interested, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like a really good opportunity, so I thought it would be a great experience for me to have, so yeah.
Now, do you have any interest in journalism or politics?
Well, particularly for me, not really, but it was a great way to see what actually happens in Bermuda, like how the government system actually works, and it was really great meeting the candidates and seeing what they are, not as just politicians, but actually who they are as their themselves. So they were very like welcoming, even though I was a young teen. They cracked jokes with me. It was like, 'cause I thought it was gonna be intimidating, but they were actually very welcoming, and yeah.
Which constituency were you in?
I was in constituency 32. Yeah. Yeah.
So were there any challenges with obviously being thrown into this a little bit?
Well, just waiting, because I thought maybe they would come out and tell us like the counts, but no, we had to wait to the end of it. We actually had to pack up chairs with them just to get the count. They were like, yeah, you just have to wait, we have to finish tidying up. So I was just waiting and not knowing what was going on at one point, but yeah, it was really nice.
Now that experience has been over and done and dusted, do you feel interest to continue this?
Yeah, it's been a very eye-opening experience to see what goes on in that field. Yeah, it just definitely gave me an interest in pursuing that. Yeah.
Start off with, how did you get involved in this year's election coverage?
Well, I actually did work experience at the Royal Gazette with Miss Fellows, and she actually hit me up and she was like, "Do you want to come and do the election?" I was like, "Sure."
Now, what were your thoughts going into it?
I didn't really know about politics that much, so it was kind of interesting just doing my research about who I'm going to be talking to, and my parents actually gave me some feedback of who they are because they kind of knew them, so it was just interesting.
Was this in your constituency or were you somewhere else?
No, it was in Paget West, number 23, I think, something like that, so yeah, I was there.
Now, what was it like going out there and meeting the constituents?
It was interesting. They were very nice. I actually knew Ms. Dill, who I worked with. She was a teacher at my school, so it was nice talking to her again. And I didn't know Ms. Patricia
Gordon Pamphlet?
Yeah, her. I didn't know her, so it was pretty interesting too.
Now that you've put in a little bit of research, is this something you're more interested in, following politics?
Yes, I want to study journalism. I'm not sure about the politics side. I'm not sure about that, but I do want to study journalism. So.
All right, and any particular challenges you had during this particular experience?
Just talking to them and trying to get the questions out. Just telling them that I am writing for the Royal Gazette for the youth, and just taking pictures as well, because it was hard to take pictures with not few were there. So that was fun.
And of course, how does it feel to have your work in print?
It's very cool. I do have a few articles in the Royal Gazette already, so just seeing that is just to add to my resume and portfolio and everything to college.
Would you encourage other young people to look into journalism as a career?
Definitely.
How did you get involved with the Royal Gazette's coverage of the election?
Well, I originally didn't plan on actually being involved. Someone actually just dropped out last minute, so my mom called me while I was tanning on the beach and asked me to come and fill in for them. So yeah, it's just how.
So between being at the beach and being at a polling station, which do you prefer?
I think the beach would probably win, maybe just a little, but the polling station was definitely a great experience. So I'm happy I left the beach.
Now, what was it like having, being thrown into this and having to,
Well, my dad is Bermudian, so that is why I have Bermudian citizenship, but I was originally born in America.
Right.
So I've never particularly been involved in Bermudian politics or even been interested, just because it's on such a smaller scale from where I come from. But I definitely found it interesting just to see that even though it is on a small scale, how seriously people did take it, and just to see the family environment with all the different constituencies and the different groups. It was very interesting.
Now, what was it like talking to the candidates?
The candidates, you definitely, I got the sense of family from PLP and community, and then I definitely got the sense of, from the OBA, the sense of they were very proper, how they spoke to me, addressed me very differently from the PLP, And it was just very interesting to see the two different sides, because I guess you think Bermuda's so small that how could we possibly be separated or segregated like that? But just to see that people, all races, all colors, all genders, were just separated based on who they believed and what they believed in. It was very interesting.
Well, now that you've got a taste of Bermudian politics, is it something you're going to be following going forward?
Yes, actually, I think so, because even though it is on a lot of a smaller scale, it is definitely, I did learn a lot about what Bermudians, what they cherish from family perspectives, and then what they also cherish from the OBA's perspective of how formal they are and how serious they took it. So I definitely found it interesting.